with a golf ball. Seriously? Wow, that's impressive. Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. My name's Carl Bentley, and this lovely afternoon we're going to be looking at the role of hormones in key development stages of the body. Sit back, relax, grab a gin, and prepare to join me on our journey of wonder.
Gametogenesis.
Gametogenesis. Now, aside from sounding like a sci-fi weaponized infection, it is the creation of gametes, which is also known as our sex cells, and it is where our precursor cells go through meiotic division and then produce the gametes. Now, our sex organs, or genitalia, which are the penis in males, or the clitoris and vulva in females, produce the gametes, which are known as the egg and sperm. And they also produce steroid hormones, which are essential for both reproduction and the growth and development of the entire body. Now, in males, this is called spermagenesis, and it's production of sperm in the semi-inferiorous tubules of the testes. This process begins at puberty, when the germline epithelium of the semi-inferiorous tubules divided by mitosis. Now, the cells go through a period of cell growth. They become spermatites, and then the spermatites then go through two meiotic divisions to form 4 haploid daughter cells. After this process, the spermatids undergo a process of differentiation to then become functional sperm. Now, in females, this is called oogenesis, and it produces the ova, otherwise known as the eggs. Now, a large number of primordial cells are formed by mitosis during fetal development. Until these cells are large enough to undergo meiosis, they undergo cell growth, and they are primarily known as oocytes. Now, the primate oocytes then begin meiosis, but are arrested in prophase number 1, when granulosa cells surround them to form follicle. Now, the primary oocyte will stay in this phase until puberty occurs, when a female begins their menstrual cycle, and thus everything begins towards pregnancy. Now, the hormone that's associated with gametogenesis is gonadotrophin-releasing hormones, also known as GnRH. Now, it's released every 1 to 3 hours, and it travels around the body via blood circulation. It is a small peptide that travels to affected cells in the nearby anterior pituitary, which, when and how much even GnRH are released, is determined by the brain in response to a range of external and internal stimuli. Now, the GnRH regulates 2 peptides from the anterior pituitary. These are the follicle-stimulating hormone, PSH. These hormones act on gamete-producing cells to regulate gametogenesis. The other hormone produced is called luteinizing hormone, LH. This hormone acts on the endocrine or hormone-producing cells in order to stimulate the release of steroid sex hormones. Both of these hormones have tropic effects on the gonads, and this means they stimulate or encourage growth, and they are collectively known as gonadotrophins.
Puberty.
Puberty. We've all been there. It's that time of our lives when we just are humans, a base platform or just an entity. But, it enables us to become Entity Mark II. It's a staging ground of growth to become actual humans, eventually. So it's not all that bad. I guess it's worth the pain and trouble. Now, the onset of puberty is triggered by the brain, which starts the hormones flowing through our bodies of both boys and girls, men and women, depending how you look at it. The first stage of hormonal reaction starts when the hypothalamus releases a hormone called gonadotrophin-releasing hormone, GnRH. You'll be hearing about this later as well. This hormone, in turn, signals a pituitary gland and an endocrine gland the size of a pea at the base of the brain to release luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH. Now, these are the hormones that start the process of sexual development and are responsible for the production of testosterone in men and estrogen in women. Now, testosterone is a male sex hormone produced in the testes, and blood levels of testosterone in boys rise during puberty. Now, this surge of hormone level is responsible for the development of the male features, facial hair, lots of it, pubic hair, and muscle development. Testosterone stimulates the production of sperm and is also responsible for the voice change, hence my deep, dark, and seductive tone that I have right here for you. Now, women, there's two hormones released by the brain, and they work differently. Now, they signal the ovaries to produce the female sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Now, the female hormones are responsible for the initiation of the menstrual cycle, which is the release of eggs in the reproductive cycle. Now, also the development of breasts and the curvier shape that women have in compared to men, or not if you mean. Now, during the menstrual cycle, estrogen levels rise for 14 days. Then progesterone levels rise for another 14 days. When the level of progesterone falls, menstruation begins, and the cycle starts, and off we rock and roll. It's almost pregnancy time, or not, if you're some people like me. Now, the growth spurt in puberty for both males and females is caused by an increase in the secretion of growth hormone, and the levels rise significantly during the puberty period. And then obviously it calms down once we've reached the peak of that and matured. Puberty, it's in a nutshell, it is a lot more complicated, but we are only talking about hormones today.
Pregnancy.
So, pregnancy, as we all know, is how all our little bundles of joy or hate, depending how you feel about these things, come into existence. Now, this is a result of the sperm fertilising an egg and then implanting itself with a uterine wall while it develops, and whoosh, out it comes, like that. But the hormones that are related to pregnancy are pretty much estrogen, progesterone, the human chorionic gonadotrophin hormone, HCG, try saying that very fast, and oxytocins. Now, estrogen is generally responsible for development of female characteristics within the body, forming the ovaries and formed in the ovaries. It's also made by the placenta during pregnancy, and it helps maintain a healthy pregnancy with mum and baby. Now, progesterone, this hormone is made by the ovaries and by the placenta during pregnancy, and it stimulates the thickening of the uterine lining in anticipation of implantation of the fertilized egg. Now, after implantation of the embryo into the uterus wall, it releases the human chorionic gonadotrophin hormone, HCG. Now, this hormone is only made during pregnancy, almost exclusively in the placenta. Now, HCG hormone levels found in maternal blood and urine increase dramatically during the first trimester, and it may contribute to nausea and vomiting, often associated with pregnancy. It also helps maintain the endometrium lining, and it's also what we use to detect pregnancy in pregnancy test kits. So there we go on that one. Quite clever, isn't it? Human placental lactogen, or HPL for short. This hormone, also known as human chorionic somatomamotrophin, is made by the placenta as well. It provides the nutrition for the fetus, and it also stimulates the milk glands in the female's breast in anticipation of breastfeeding. So it's causing a change within mum to be able to be prepared, and also it's giving all the baby its nutrients that it actually needs. Oxytocin. Now, this hormone, it stimulates the uterine muscles to contract. It also increases production of prostaglandins. Now, this increases the contractions even further. If it needs to be administered, manufactured oxytocin can be given to induce labour if it's not started naturally, or it can be used to strengthen contractions to aid childbirth, in addition to that as well. Now, it's usually given to speed up delivery of the placenta on top of this, which is delivered after the baby. It's a second birthing in some ways, and it's going to be reducing the risk of heavy bleeding or contracting of the uterus. Now, during breastfeeding, oxytocin also promotes the movement of milk into the breast, so that baby can feed, and it allows it to be excreted by the nipple. But it's not just a female-only hormone. No. It's also present in men, because it plays a role in sperm movement and production of testosterone by the testes. So it's a multi-purpose hormone. Now, it's also in biology sort of way, been suggested that it can affect social behaviour as well. Because in the brain, oxytocin acts as a chemical messenger and has been shown to be important in human behaviours, including sexual arousal, recognition, trust, anxiety, mother and infant bonding, and in result of this findings, it's been renamed either the love hormone or the cuddle chemical. Now it sounds a lot nicer than it probably is, but we've got to put a good label on it, haven't we? Blood, blood, it's blood, and bits of sick. As the creature emerged from the womb after fully absorbing its mother's nutrients, its teeth glistened, and it hungered for more. That was an excerpt from my new novel, Womb Vampire, available at all good bookstores from Tuesday.
Menopause.
The menopause, or the great change as it's commonly known. As women approach their mid-40s to mid-50s, their ovaries begin to lose their sensitivity to follicle-stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone as well. Now, menstrual periods become less frequent and they will finally cease. And this is the overall process called menopause. There are still eggs and potential follicles in the ovaries, but without the stimulation of SHA and LH, they will not produce a viable egg to be released. The outcome of this is the inability to have children. Also, the decrease in estrogen levels and can cause anxiety and insomnia and hot flushes, which is due to the vascular dilation not being maintained by estrogen. Now, this is naturally occurring, so there isn't really anything to worry about. However, some women elect to have HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy, to combat the symptoms and try and regulate themselves from the effects that can be had on this. And alas, we have come to an end, with no more understanding of hormonal biology. I thank you for your accompaniment, weary traveller, and bid you good rest. Until next time, adieu.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me. Then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own.